Hi, everyone. So in this video, I'm going to take a little bit of time to go over the Chapter 6 PowerPoint with you. This chapter is all about how to revise a paragraph, keeping the 4 bases of writing in mind. Obviously it would be fantastic if we, could learn what the 4 bases are: unity, support, coherence, and sentence skills, and then just magically be able to produce a paragraph that contains all 4 of those bases the first time around. That'd be great. However, the reality is that even the best writers, even the most experienced writers, don't always get it perfect the first time. So we always have to go back and look to check to make sure that we have accomplished all 4 of the bases and then make any needed changes. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing here. This lesson is really, it goes hand in hand with the week 4 assignment 1 that you'll be doing this week, revising writing. In fact, some of the slides here in the PowerPoint are very much like the items that you'll be asked to look at in the assignment. So this is a good chance for you to see what it's like in practice so that then you can do it yourself on the assignment. And I have to say that assignment that you'll be doing this week, the revising writing assignment, it actually used to be a midterm for this course. And it was worth like 25 or 30% of the overall grade. It was pretty significant. But I don't really like doing midterm exams in composition classes. So I revised it a little bit and made it just a weekly assignment. But if you can, kind of make that correlation, oh, this used to be a midterm exam, that must mean that this assignment is assessing whether or not I have learned what I'm supposed to learn in the first 4 weeks of this course. And that's exactly what we're doing. We are learning how to incorporate the 4 bases of writing, how to look at an existing paragraph to see if it does adhere to those 4 bases. And if not, what do we do? What can we do to fix it? And that is, again, sort of taking everything that we've learned in weeks 1 through 3 and putting them all together to assess how well you have learned the 4 bases of writing. I decided to keep it as a smaller assignment instead of a midterm because I still want this to be practice. It is an assessment of sorts, but I don't want it to be a lot of pressure. I want students to simply try so that then I can see where you might be faltering, and then I can give you feedback on that based on this assignment. And then we know what you really need to focus on going into the 2 formal writing assignment paragraphs in weeks 5 and 6. So this is sort of like a midterm assessment, but it's in a much lower risk type of assignment. And it is entirely designed to help prepare you for the evaluation paragraph that you'll write in week 5 and the compare contrast paragraph that you'll write in week 6. Because you're going to have to show, to score well on those, you're going to have the 4 bases of writing kind of, solidly in place for those paragraphs. Okay, now you'll be given a chance to revise those paragraphs if you aren't happy with your first score. But the better you can do the first time around, the less time you'll have to take to redo the paragraph or revise the paragraph after the fact. So if we can get everybody where we need to be here in week 4, then moving into weeks 5 and 6, you're in a much better position to do well the first time around on those 2 writing assignment paragraphs. And remember, those are worth 40% of your overall grade. Just 1 paragraph each time, an evaluation paragraph in week 5 and a compare contrast paragraph in week 6. 1 single paragraph, but combined, it's worth 40% of your overall grade. So this is our chance to make sure that we have understood the 4 bases of writing and how to check to make sure that a paragraph has, achieved all 4 bases, right? go ahead here and take a look at the PowerPoint. All right. All right, so again, we're on Chapter 6, 4 bases for revising writing. All right, so we've learned about all 4 steps. We've learned about all 4 bases. How step 1 is discovering a point, and that if you have a point and stick to it, you'll have unity. We've got step 2 is developing support for that point. Step 3 is organizing all of the material for that point and support. And then step 4 is more of the fine-tuning revising, where we're looking at sentence level errors. All right. So again, if you know, what we're looking for here is to see, did you make one point and stick to that point? If so, your writing will have unity. Have you backed up that point with specific and adequate evidence? If so, your writing will have support, second base. If you have organized and connected all of your ideas, then your writing will have coherence. That's base 3. And did you write clear, error-free sentences? If so, then your writing will have effective sentence skills, which was base 4. Okay, we covered base 1 and base 2 in we started like an introduction in week 1, but we really focused on those in week 2. We focused on coherence in week 2. And then in week 3, we focused on sentence skills. So we have learned all 4 of these bases. We should be ready, right? But how do we make sure that we've covered all 4 bases, right? Again, ideally, we would, be masters at this already just from learning about the 4 bases, but that's not reality. So how do we make sure that the paragraph we've produced has unity, support, coherence, and sentence skills? Right? To check for unity, right? Your first step in writing a paragraph is to decide what point you want to make and to write that point in a single sentence. We know that that sentence is known as a topic sentence. We learned about that in week 2. We learned how to create them. We learned some common errors to avoid when creating a topic sentence. And we learned how to make sure that our topic sentence is specific and focused on the exact main point that we are making in that paragraph. All right. We want to put that topic sentence as the very first sentence of our paragraph. That is the sentence that tells the reader the exact focus of the paragraph. And then everything else in the paragraph should develop and support that point in different ways, right? So to check for unity, you want to ask yourself, is there a clear opening statement of the point of the paragraph? Basically, do I have a strong topic sentence? And then is all of the material on target within the paragraph? Do I stick to the topic sentence and remain focused? If you can answer yes to those questions, then you have unity. Base 1, right? Let's take a look here at a sample paragraph on student dropouts. It says there are 3 main reasons students drop out of college. Looking at the opening point, the topic sentence, that's a reasonable topic sentence. I would personally prefer to have the 3 reasons listed as part of that topic sentence, because then it becomes super focused and I know exactly what to expect. But this is a decent topic sentence. I do at least know that this paragraph should be telling me about those 3 main reasons that students drop out of college. So we're okay on the topic sentence. Now let's check the rest of the paragraph to see if it sticks to that point, or if there's anything in the paragraph that kind of meanders off. Some students, for one thing, are not really sure they want to be in school and lack the desire to do the work. When exams come up or when a course requires a difficult project or term paper, these students will not do the required studying or research. Eventually, they may drop out because their grades are so poor they are about to flunk out anyway. Such students sometimes come back to school later with a completely different attitude about school. Other students drop out for financial reasons. The pressures of paying tuition, buying textbooks, and possibly having to support themselves can be overwhelming. These students can often be helped by the school because financial aid is available and some schools offer work-study programs. Finally, students drop out because they have personal problems. They cannot concentrate on their courses because they are unhappy at home, they are lonely, or they are having trouble with boyfriends or girlfriends. Instructors should suggest that such troubled students see counselors or join support groups. If instructors would take a more personal interest in their students, more students would make it through troubled times. All right, does this paragraph have unity? We had a decent topic sentence, so that part is good. But what about the rest of the paragraph? Were there any sentences in the paragraph that did not directly support the topic sentence? The 3 main reasons students drop out. Take a look. So what you'll see over here are some highlighted sections of the paragraph. And what we find out is that those highlighted sections are off topic. They do not belong in the paragraph because they do not directly support the topic sentence at the beginning of the paragraph. So notice how this first highlighted section right here, such students sometimes come back to school later with a completely different attitude about school. We've switched focus now. The focus is supposed to be on why they drop out, not what happens when they finally return, right? I mean, it is related to that first reason, but it does not belong in this particular paragraph, because this particular paragraph is supposed to be focused only on the reasons why, not anything in addition to that. So we need to remove this first highlighted section. Then we get to the second highlighted section. It has switched the focus also. It is still related to financial problems, right? The second reason that students drop out is for financial reasons. This second highlighted area is related to those financial issues, but it is not directly related to the reasons why students drop out. It's really just, possible solutions to the problem. But that's not what this paragraph is supposed to be discussing. It is supposed to be focused only on the reasons why students drop out. And then finally, this section down here, these 2 sentences, it switches the focus again as well. So instead of just focusing on how personal problems can cause students to drop out, the author has again kind of shifted the focus to possible solutions. Okay, it really seems like this student didn't have a clear idea of what exactly they wanted to discuss. Or they didn't have a good scratch outline to start with. And in the process of writing the paragraph, they accidentally went off topic. And that can happen as well. So it could be one of 2 things. They weren't clear from the start what their true focus was going to be, or they just kind of lost sight of it because they didn't have a scratch outline to help keep them on track. But the opening topic sentence for this paragraph specifically tells us that the focus of this paragraph should be just on the main reasons why students drop out. Anything else does not belong in this paragraph. Any explanation, any potential solutions, those don't belong in this paragraph. So what happens if you come across this in your own writing? What should this student do? Well, it kind of depends on the assignment, the purpose of writing the paragraph in the first place. The easy thing would be to simply remove these sentences and allow the paragraph to just focus on the 3 main reasons why students drop out. However, it is possible that the student could look at this and say, I know my topic sentence says that I'm only going to focus on the reasons why students drop out, but maybe I'm actually more interested in the possible solutions. Maybe I didn't get all of my pre-writing ideas onto paper in the beginning of my process, and it turns out that I have some additional ideas, maybe something that I like even more than what my original topic was going to be. You know, and again, depending on the assignment, depending on the situation and the context, that student might be able to change it up, right? But something has to be done. The paragraph definitely lacks unity, so something needs to be done to fix it, right? We have another example here. I'm not going to go through this second example, for the sake of time. I don't want the video to be super, super long, but it is here for you. Another example, you can read through the paragraph as it is, why adults visit amusement parks, and try to figure out, and I will tell you right away, there are some sentences that are off topic that do not belong in this particular paragraph, given what the topic sentence tells us. The topic sentence, adults visit amusement parks for several reasons. So as you read through that paragraph, keep that in mind at all times, that the focus of this paragraph should simply be on the reasons why adults visit amusement parks. And anything that strays from that focus is off topic and does not belong in this particular paragraph, right? And then of course, the next slide will have the highlighted sections and explanations for you. All right, so we've checked our paragraph. We've got a solid topic sentence, and everything in the paragraph relates directly to that point. We've got unity. All right, so let's check for base 2, support, right? You want to make sure that you are then supporting that topic sentence with specific and adequate evidence. And evidence can be anything. It can be personal experience examples, facts, statistics, description, explanation. It's when I say evidence, I don't mean it has to be research. It's just, what have you done to support the topic sentence? All right. That supporting evidence is needed so that the reader can see and understand for themselves that your main point is sound, that you have shared an idea and developed it in a way that makes sense and is true. Your supporting evidence needs to be specific. You want to use specific examples, not general, vague examples. And you want it to be adequate, meaning there needs to be enough of it. So to check for support, you're going to read your paragraph and ask yourself, is there specific evidence to support the topic sentence? Is there enough specific evidence to support the topic sentence? And I think support is probably one of the areas where students start to struggle the most, because they're not quite sure, is this specific or is it too vague? Is this enough evidence? Maybe it's not. I'm not sure, right? That's understandable. Support is everybody has sort of a different view of how an idea should be supported. But you want to try to think, overall, is it specific and adequate? So we're going to take a look here. All right, so we have this paragraph here called controversial adventures. Right? Now, we've already checked this paragraph for unity. Everything is on topic. So we have achieved base 1. Let's check for base 2. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain has been causing controversy since it was first written. In fact, since its publication, Twain's book has never been without controversy and detractors. When first printed in 1885, the book was considered as nothing more than garbage with absolutely no moral or literary value. In the 1900s, many claimed that book glamorized juvenile delinquency, and this caused a great deal of concern. Since the 1960s, however, most people have been offended by the use of language in Huckleberry Finn. Regardless of the controversy, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn will continue to be read by future generations. Right? One way to sort of ask, to make sure or to check for support is to ask yourself, did this paragraph make any claims or assert any kind of idea that I still feel like hasn't been explained? Like I still don't really understand the point being made. This whole paragraph is supposed to be about how Huck Finn has always been surrounded in controversy. You know, does this paragraph truly explain to us why it has always been surrounded in controversy? It mentions sort of three general reasons, right? No more, it was just garbage with no moral or literary value. And then later, glamorized juvenile delinquency, and then later, offensive language. But do we really learn anything of anything about those points? Those three main ideas, they're not backed up, they're not explained. Okay, I can walk away from this paragraph and go up to somebody and say, hey, did you know that Huck Finn by Mark Twain has always been a controversial book? And that person might say, oh, really? Why is that? I could say, well, at first people just thought it was garbage and, had no literary value. And then that other person might say, really? Why did they think that? I don't know. Oh, well, another reason that it was surrounded in controversy is because people thought it glamorized juvenile delinquency. Really? Wow. Where did they get that from? Like, why would they think that? I don't know. Oh, but the third reason is the offensive language. So that's another reason why it's often surrounded in controversy. Really, what kind of language? What's offensive about it? I don't know. So I have pre-reasons when I walk away from this, but I don't actually understand the reason. Nothing has been supported or explained enough, right? That's exactly what this next slide says. So right here, considered nothing more than garbage with absolutely no moral or literary value. This highlighted section needs more support, right? Why was it considered garbage with no value? We need more support after this sentence. It needs to be explained more. This second section, how it glamorized juvenile delinquency. How? We need more support after this sentence. They need to explain that. And then, of course, the third, the offensive language, they need more support after this sentence as well. It hasn't fully supported the point made in the topic sentence. We do at least have three specific main ideas. There are three main reasons. So at least we have some support in terms of the main ideas. And they definitely relate to that topic sentence. But the main ideas need support. It's not just, here's my topic sentence and my three reasons why. That still doesn't give enough support to that topic sentence. It's, here's my topic sentence, here's my three reasons why, and I have to explain each reason. I have to explain each main idea, right? All right, and again, we have another example here that you can look at on your own. Remember, base one is there, the paragraph is on topic, it's focused, it has unity. All we're worried about is whether or not there's any idea in the paragraph that leaves us with questions because it hasn't been explained or supported enough. That's what you're looking for. And when you find that sentence, where an idea is expressed and then afterwards it just seems to move right on to the next idea without explaining this one, that's the sentence that would need to be highlighted. That's the sentence that needs more explanation afterwards, right? Of course, the next slide will have the highlighted section and the explanation for you. All right, so we have looked at our paragraph. It stays on topic, so we have unity. We have a lot of great examples and explanation. We have tons of specific support. So we've achieved base two. but have we made sure that we've organized the ideas in a logical way? And have we connected all the ideas in a way that helps the paragraph flow from start to finish? We want to make sure we have coherence, phase 3. All right. We want everything to, gel together. So remember, first, you have to think about your common methods of organization. Time order, right? Is my topic of such and my ideas as such that I could organize them in a chronological fashion? Or would it be better to organize my main ideas with emphatic order? Remember, kind of going from least important to most important. So you have to think about that, right? And then, once you have the main ideas in the right order, we tend to just walk away and think, okay, well, my main ideas are ordered in a logical way. It makes total sense. I'm good on coherence. We often forget that coherence also includes using transition words and connecting words to guide the reader from one idea to the next within the paragraph. All right. So to check for coherence, you want to ask, does the paragraph have a clear method of organization? Does it make sense why they discuss this main idea first, this one second, and this one third? Or have they not put it in a logical order and it's confusing? Are the transitions and other connecting words used to tie the ideas together? All right, so we have a paragraph here. And it has unity. It has support. However, everything's out of order. They did not organize the main ideas in a logical way, nor did they organize the supporting ideas in a logical way. So let's take a look, and as I'm reading it, try to, sort of think to yourself, am I noticing how some of these sentences might be grouped together? Like one of these is definitely a main idea, and then these other sentences relate to that main idea, but they're just not in the right spot. That's kind of what we're looking for. All right, so it's called Lionel Hampton in Idaho. Music students should plan to visit the University of Idaho and include the Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival in their visit. The festival, usually held in February, brings together famous jazz musicians with students of all ages from elementary school to college. Music students can participate in masterclass workshops, learning from some of the greatest jazz artists. Once Lionel Hampton pledged his support, the festival grew. In addition to the headliners, the Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival offers numerous workshops and opportunities for participants to learn. It has featured famous jazz artists like Dizzy Gillespie, Bobby McFerrin, and Doc Severinsen. Participants can attend smaller, more intimate concerts that often include question and answer sessions. They receive trophies and awards for their performances. Elementary and middle school students benefit from the festival as the artists spend time visiting the surrounding schools and introducing students to the beauty of jazz. Two of the most exciting events for students are the Young Artist Concerts and Hamps Club. Both of these events highlight students and groups who have been selected for recognition. Students perform in front of large audiences. There are jazz festivals around the United States. The Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival is one that should not be missed. This 4-day event began as a local celebration but gained national recognition when Ella Fitzgerald headlined. It's really hard to pinpoint exactly why we should include this jazz festival if we visit the University of Idaho. There's definitely a lot of information packed into this paragraph. And maybe we kind of walk away sort of understanding like, okay, yeah, like I guess it sounds like a cool festival, but at the same time, despite all of this specific support, I don't really understand what all happens at this festival. I don't, it's talking about workshops and learning, and then these famous jazz musicians, and then getting trophies and performing in front of audiences. And yeah, like it does sound cool, but I can't really understand what it's actually all about. Okay. So what I have here is that same paragraph, and you'll see that each sentence is numbered, right? So that we can kind of keep track of what I'm talking about over here on the right side. So this paragraph has unity and support. However, it is not organized in a logical manner. Notice how the second sentence, right, we have our topic sentence. The topic sentence is good. Music students should plan to visit the University of Idaho and include the Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival in their visit. So I know that this paragraph is likely going to be about this festival and why we should make sure we visit during festival time. All right. Notice how the second sentence seems to be introducing the first main idea, which is basically some background information about the festival. The festival, usually held in February, brings together famous jazz musicians with students of all ages from elementary school to college. Okay. But then the third sentence suddenly starts discussing a second main idea, which is about how participants can learn about jazz music at the festival. Music students can participate in masterclass workshops learning from some of the greatest jazz artists. Well, that's not the same as giving background information. This is something else entirely. It seems to be part of a main idea that is explaining how people can learn from at this festival. But then sentences 4 through 7 jump back and forth between background information, the first main idea, and what participants can experience, the second main idea, right? Once Lionel Hampton pledged his support, the festival grew. That clearly sounds like background information. In addition to the headliners, the Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival offers numerous workshops and opportunities for participants to learn. That actually sounds like the transition from the first main idea to the second main idea, going from background information to, how participants can learn. Participants can attend smaller, more intimate, number 6. It has featured famous jazz artists like Dizzy Gillespie, Bobby McFerrin, and Doc Severinsen. Well, again, that sounds like background information, but you already switched to the second main idea. So we've not done a very good job of keeping the information in their proper places. If the first main idea is supposed to be all the background information, then we need all of that information there in that section before we move on to talk about anything else. Jumping back and forth between main ideas is not good. It's very confusing. And then the 7th sentence, participants can, we've gone back to what they can experience and learn. All right. The 8th sentence seems to be a third main idea, a third reason. They receive trophies and awards for their performances. Well, we don't know who they are or what performances, but clearly we're talking about something else now. This doesn't sound like background information, and it doesn't really seem like we're talking about learning anymore. This seems to be something a little more active, receiving trophies and awards for their performances. Is it the students receiving awards and trophies, or the famous jazz artists? It's very confusing, but it does seem to at least be separate from the background information main idea and the how you can learn main idea. This 8th sentence seems to take us into some sort of third main idea, but we're not quite sure exactly what that third main idea is yet, right? Sentences 9 and 13 go back and forth between the second main idea, how people can learn, and the third main idea, how they can actually participate. Right? So elementary and middle school students benefit from the festival as artists spend time at visiting surrounding schools and introducing students to the beauty of jazz, right? That seems more like learning. Two of the most exciting events for students are the Young Artist Concerts and Hamps Club. That seems more like an event, something active. Both of these events highlight students and groups who have been selected for recognition. Again, sounds more like the third main idea, something more active, active participation. Students perform in front of large audiences. Again, that third main idea, active. There are jazz festivals around the United States. The Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival is one that should not be missed. That doesn't seem to be background information. It doesn't seem to be about how students can learn. And it doesn't seem to be about how students can participate. It actually sounds like it should be a concluding sentence. But then there's another sentence that comes after it. This 4-day event began as a local celebration but gained national recognition when Ella Fitzgerald headlined. All right, that sounds like background information. So that was our very first main idea. And for some reason, we have a supporting idea down here at the very end of the paragraph. So I hope you can see how, despite all the good evidence, the good support about this festival, the lack of coherence kills the paragraph. It's not easy to understand. I don't really know what I'm supposed to walk away with. I mean, I do. I know I'm supposed to walk away thinking that this jazz festival sounds awesome, and that if I'm going to go visit the University of Idaho, I'm going to make sure that I do it during the festival. But it never really got clearly explained to me why it's supposed to be so awesome, why I should want to visit there. It gets very murky and muddled because the ideas are not grouped and organized and connected correctly. So what we have here on this slide is an outline of how the paragraph should have been organized. So our topic sentence, right? And then our first main idea, which was sentence 2, which is where it was supposed to be, right? Festival usually held in February brings together famous jazz musicians with students of all ages from elementary school to college, right? What should have been the third sentence is the one that came at the very end. This 4-day event began as a local celebration, but gained national recognition when Ella Fitzgerald headlined. And then, once Lionel Hampton pledged his support, the festival grew. It has featured famous artists like Dizzy Gillespie, Bobby McFerrin, and Doc Severinsen. So all of this background information should have been up here as sentences 3, 4, and 5. And then we have our second main idea. And then, these 3 sentences all go with how participants can learn. So they should have come as sentences like, let's see, 7, 8, and 9. We got close, right? But this should have, yeah. So you can see I've matched them up to where the sentences actually appeared in the paragraph versus where they should have appeared, right? You will be asked to do something very similar on the week for assignment 1, revising writing. So just come back to this section of the PowerPoint if you are unsure of what I'm asking when I ask you to read a paragraph and reorganize the sentences in outline form. It's just what I did here, right? I took the topic sentence, put it there. My first main idea, I took that sentence and put it here. What sentences go with this main idea? Put them on these lines. You're going to be doing the same thing, right? All right. So we have unity, we have support, we have coherence. Many of us think that's it, we're done. But remember, there is phase 4, sentence skills, right? So this is going back to grammar and mechanics and style, right? Use parallelism, use a consistent point of view, use specific words, use concise wording, vary your sentences. Make sure that you've looked to make sure there's no sentence fragments, no run-on sentences or comma splices, that you have subject-verb agreement, right? Have you eliminated unnecessary words? Have you eliminated cliches and clutter words? Have you tried combining sentences to create a variety in your writing? Everything that we covered in week 3. This is the last step to making sure that your paragraph is good to go, is base 4 sentence skills, right? Do this last, because if you try to go in and start making sentence level changes to your writing before you've ensured that you have unity, support, and coherence, you might be wasting your time. Because if you don't have unity, there's going to be sentences that probably need to be removed. You don't want to waste your time making small corrections on those sentences if you're not sure they're even going to stay in the paragraph. Support. You might need to add more sentences. And then, you have to go through this editing, proofreading step again. So it's just better to leave base 4 till the end, which is why it's base 4. We have an example here, high versus low maintenance pets. Again, we're looking for sentence level errors. People often don't think about how high or low maintenance a pet is going to be. I'm guessing we have a spelling mistake there. Until they purchase it. While dogs are popular, they can require a lot of work. First, dogs need to be taken out to go to the bathroom at least 3 times a day. If the family doesn't have a dog door in a fenced-in yard, this could mean someone always needs to return home during the day to take out the dog. I'm going to guess that's a run-on sentence somewhere because that took my breath away. Dogs also cannot be left alone for days at a time. They requires social interaction, mental stimulation, and companionship. Cats, on the other hand, are generally low maintenance. Even cats who are indoors all the time require minimal care to be happy, as long as they have access to plenty of food, water, and a litter box. Cats are more than happy to be left alone for a few days at a time. Some of the easiest pets fish. They don't require a lot of interaction from their owners, only need their tanks cleaned every other week, and can be left alone for a week at a time. Getting a pet can bring great happiness to a family, but only if it requires the right level of maintenance a family is willing to give. There were, I don't even know if I caught them all over here. Sentence fragment, run-on sentence, wrong subject verb agreement. I mean, this paragraph had a lot of sentence level issues that needed to be corrected. So you want to refer back to those lessons from week 3. And if you still aren't quite sure about sentence fragments, run-on sentences and comma splices, especially run-on sentences and comma splices, misplaced and dangling modifiers, clutter words, cliches, any of the parallelism, subject-verb agreement, pronoun agreements. If you have any questions still, reach out to me about that, because you do want to make sure that you have achieved base 4, right? So we've gone through, right? And we've looked at paragraphs to ensure that they have the 4 bases in place: unity, support, coherence, and sentence skills. Use the checklist questions to help you, right? And now you're going to try to put all of this knowledge into practice with week 4, assignment 1, revising writing. Remember, it used to be a midterm exam. So this really is like a midpoint assessment to see where you're still struggling before we get to the big items in weeks 5 and 6. Evaluation paragraph, compare, contrast paragraph. So as you are working on week 4, assignment 1, take note of any sections that you aren't understanding well. Now, if you're just confused about the instructions, right? Like, okay, wait, what am I supposed to do with the off-topic sentences? Come back to this PowerPoint and look at the slides where I have showed you what should be highlighted. And it's okay if you don't highlight, if you underline instead, that's okay. But just use these slides, use these practice paragraphs to help you understand the actual instructions. But let's say you're like, okay, I get it. I'm supposed to highlight the sentences that are off topic. I don't see any sentences that are off topic. Reach out to me, right? but take note of, okay, am I struggling with unity? Am I struggling with support? Am I struggling with coherence? Am I struggling with sentence skills? And that way we can work together to get you some extra help on those to prepare you for the big writing assignment paragraphs in weeks 5 and 6. Okay. All right. That's it for now. You guys are free to go ahead and move on.